Welcome, episode 4, Aussie Trainer Podcast. It's been a minute. I've been so insanely busy. I've been training in Melbourne, Brisbane, supporting in Melbourne and Brisbane and other shops. Plenty. I've got to head regional. I need to head back to Brisbane. We've got all this work. But of course, I'm about to disappear for 3 weeks. Maybe not disappear. I'm about to go international for 3 weeks. Really looking forward to it. Heading to Film Fest, which is a window film. It is a competition. I'm the lead judge for the auto tinting, and that's going to be fun. There's always a lot going on when it comes to judging in these competitions. However, it's more of a collaboration of rad people getting together. So yeah, it's really cool. I'm also taking my son this time, so that's really cool. He's taking Tint and Protect. I'm representing him. This is his brand now, Tint and Protect. Sorry, it's on this side, Tint and Protect. Make sure you give him a follow if you haven't already. Might seem familiar. I used to own Tint and Protect with my partner, and we basically signed it all over to him. He's been tinting a few years now. He's going to compete, so there is some really cool things coming up. But for him, it's going to be his first time competing. I can see the confliction there when it comes to me being the judge and he's one of the entrants. But there's multiple judges, so he's not going to get any favoritism. And if he does really well, and it's on his own merit, he works his absolute ass off. He recently went through a cancer treatment and program, radiation, this whole thing. Didn't miss step once. Just like go and get radiation and then go back to work. I genuinely feel like it was scarier for me as a parent watching it sort of happen. I'd see him every day, but he just didn't waver at all. So yeah, that's really cool. So to be able to head overseas with him and celebrate, us being able to hang together, which is really, really cool. Outside of, we share a shop. I got the podcast upstairs at his shop and the podcast studio. So, it's an opportunity to sit down with him. We did actually shoot a podcast, but I'm going to reshoot it. The audio was all messed up, and I've been pretty picky about, what I want to release in terms of quality. So yeah, I'll make sure he jumps back in. I'll try and push him for tomorrow. So this is a Monday, and I am hunting all the things and getting them all together to take it over. I've got a 3-week trip over there, so we'll basically fly straight in into Texas and then into Atlanta and jump into Film Fest. It'll be rolling like the welcome dinner's happening right when we land. So it'll be 4 days of amazing people all getting there. I'm not sure what other Aussies are going. I did ask Boyd Hunter if he was going. He's going to try and make it, but he's under the pump also, so I haven't talked to him since. But regardless, plenty of American friends over there that I really enjoy catching up with. There's the camaraderie there is wild, right? There's all these competing, opposing brands, etc. But none of it matters so much, right? When we're all on the floor, it's good fun. There's a bit of banter and mucking around, but nothing too serious. After Film Fest, so that goes for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. After Film Fest, heading back to Texas to do some visits. We're going to spend a week in Texas and, visit friends in Texas. So spend a few days there. Then I'm heading back to Atlanta again. So we're sort of hopping back and forward. There's going to be... I'll tell you, because anyone that does watch it will work it out later. Anyway, that I'm going to be filming content with the Rap Institute. If you're not familiar with the Rap Institute, get familiar with the Rap Institute. I'm going to be doing lots of window tint training videos. I'm going to do window tint, architectural, automotive, and everything from the absolute basics, right? So, selecting film, what it does, how to put it on, how to cut it, what the tools are, what they're called, where to get them, all those things we're going to cover, but right through to advanced techniques. So 30 years in the film industry, I've got a fair bit to share. So we're going to shoot a series of videos, probably at least a dozen straight away. So that's going to be really cool. We'll be there with Justin Pate and a few of the Rap Institute team. Marco is going to be there. I'm not sure who else, but that's a really exciting collaboration that I get to do with those guys. I used to visit the Rap Institute, 15 years ago when I was, chasing my own skills and honing my own skills, I should say, and really dialing in what I can do and what I couldn't do and what I fell short on. I always like to improve when I can in all facets. So make sure you jump in. It's such a cheap subscription. There's thousands and thousands of videos on there. I believe there's over 4,000 already. Like, that's a lot of content to consume. You can jump on YouTube and try and filter it all out, or you can literally go where their experts are. Jump on my pages. There's even a discount code if you want to subscribe. There's lots of free content on there also, but I do have a discount code there too. So I will share that and get that to you. What else? It's Lola's birthday. Hey, she wants to make an appearance. Just give me 2 seconds. Come on. It's Lola's 13th birthday. So, for yous that do know Lola, she's been a little legend, haven't you? She's not too shy when it comes to cameras, but she spent a lot of time. We got her when she was about 6, 8 weeks old, 12 weeks maybe. I don't know. She was really young, but she's 13 years today. So she's starting to harass me because it's nearly dinner time. It's still got an hour, but, it's one of the big stresses in life when you get old that all you want is dinner and, you want to go back to bed. You want to go to bed. All right, mate. So it's a welcome from Lola. She'll interrupt many times. She wants to be in the room, out of the room, in the room, out of the room. So I also want to make sure that we cover, what else? We've got a lot to cover. I've got a whole list here, but I'm trying to keep it sort of in tune. So awkward pause. There is lots of, actually, something I haven't talked about is the new Luma logo. So this is the old Luma logo. Everyone would be familiar with that. The new one, it surprised us too. So Luma Corporate, they revamped it. I love it. There's a bit of conjecture around. Some people love the OG, but I reckon a nice little logo change is a good freshen up. So I welcome the change. And what else do we want to talk about? I want to talk about my job, my day-to-day job, working with MEP and Luma Films in Australia. I've never loved a job as much as the job I love right now, which is, it's a bonus. Like, I'm very grateful for that. It's a crew of people that we spend all this time together, laughing, mucking around, having fun. But we really, really enjoy getting together, working out what we need in the industry, how we can support that, how we can grow with the industry, and where the industry is lacking. So, we can have some influence on that, but it takes everyone together to do it, right? And as cliche as that is, or as that sounds, it's really about, if we have shops supporting us and we're supporting shops, and it's that, we can support a business that's going to grow. We don't want to win everybody's business, right? There's going to be competition. It's healthy. It's great. But at the same time, we want to win the shops that actually want to grow, that want to scale their businesses and need support doing that. So that's one of the things that we get to do, and I've seen it firsthand multiple times. It's not just like a one-off and a wishy-washy, it sounds like it's a great idea, but, in reality that it doesn't actually play out that way. I find it really does play out that way. I find it plays out in a way that when these shops are asking for things, and look, it's also time dependent, right? Like, we often get asked that I might be flying to Cairns and we've got another trainer in Melbourne and another one in Perth. Like, we've got multiple high-level installers that want to help shops, but we're also at capacity a lot of the time. So we work to our best to do those things, but give us notice. Let us know what you need. Let us know where your shop's struggling, whether it be in training support. I keep saying those same things, but that's my wheelhouse. Or is it sales tactics? Is it understanding parts of the business? Like, where do you fall short, or because if you're honest with yourself about the shop, it's easy to say, I don't have staff. Well, it's a bigger picture than that. You need to scale accordingly, train your staff along with it, work out ways to keep your staff, work out ways to, to have that people retention, to have the culture where people don't want to leave. I watch all these different models where shops are using, contractor models and, profit sharing and jobs and doing all sorts of things. But look after yourself, protect those guys that are looking after you. So I love to collaborate and actually problem solve with a lot of places. I've even helped do fit outs in shops. Like it's really cool to actually be part of that. Grand openings, all sorts of things. It's a lot of fun. It's not easy. It's not easy being a business in Australia, particularly at the moment. Times are a little tough or a big tough. It depends how you look at it. Overheads are, inflation, all these things, all stuff out of my control. However, we want to try and push and help and support without just doing cheap film and then not be able to support you, right? It costs a lot of money to do all these things, to have all these people in the background doing all this work. So lean into it, ask the question, reach out if you need it. And, it's even training and support on, say the software or hardware, cutting machines, all this sort of thing. We spend a lot of time doing this stuff. So, let us know what you need, and we'll try and support that. So, all right, that's enough about the work stuff. What else am I doing? I'm going to the Masters of Branding event. So for people that have followed me a long time or know me a long time, Masters of Branding is, or MOB as they're aptly named, is a huge network in the US predominantly of people that are highly skilled, generally wrap installers and designers, and there's many other business advocates, all sorts of people in that whole group. But I believe there's 150 attendees going to this, if I remember correctly. This is going to be at Miller Decals in Georgia, and I'm stoked to be part of that event. And it's, being in the industry such a long time, that networking and an opportunity like that has only come because of the last 10 years of going every time I can over to the US and growing my network. Now, yes, I absolutely, if you've talked to me for more than 30 seconds, you'll know that I love the US, but I kind of love the scale of the business there. There's a large proportion of people that love the industry. There's a good proportion of people that love the industry here in Australia, but because it's so much smaller, there's less of us. But I do get to visit those shops. That the Wrap Boutique in Brisbane, they come to mind. Jace, he's like, how do you say it? He's a character for one. He's a really good mate of mine. However, he's such an advocate for the whole industry, right? Not just his own shop, but he wants to lead from the front, and even pay tribute to people that were there before him. So if you hear this, Jace, I want you to come along to one of these events, get your ass over to the States, and make sure. Then, and of course, his beautiful wife, Izzy. Jace would be half the man without her. So, what else in that regard? So, yeah, with that, there's a lot of people that still have that, but then there's also a good proponent in Australia that are sort of disgruntled about the industry. That's tiring, right? You get to choose what you want to be. So, I think the more fun you can have in the industry, the more time you can spend giving back to the industry, which is not easy all the time, but you can do it in small ways, right? You don't have to travel to the US. That's sort of a bonus of my job, and it's also what I choose to do. It's where I spend my holidays, and the rest of the time I'm sort of saving up so I can go back. But you can spend time setting those, whether it be online, whether it be in your own store, whether it be how you act outside of work. All of those reasons that you can lean towards actually supporting your industry that's fed your family for many years. So I'm not telling anyone what to do other than kind of telling them what to do and how to act. But, it's a beautiful industry. It feeds a lot of people. It's massive. But I was recently talking to a sales rep of a competitor, and they had this opinion of it doesn't really matter what shirt you wear, and as long as you hold high regard for people in the industry that hold high regard for you. And I was like, well, yeah, it's kind of a normal human, trait that you should uphold anyway. And he said, yeah, but specifically to these where, if you meet somebody in your industry and they're, they're disgruntled, or that, they need that support, or they don't know where to find it, you can actually help them along the way, even if it's for leaning them towards a competition, competitive brand or product or whatever it may be. But you can actually push them in the right direction, and it comes tenfold. So it doesn't necessarily just turn up on your door. You don't sell them the product instantly. However, help them out. We Johnny from Wrap It Up and myself, so Jonathan Souza owns Wrap It Up in Castle Hill. Shout out, Johnny. We wrapped a car for Andrew Hawkins. He runs the GDR Festival at Eastern Creek. He had a HKS tribute vehicle. If you're into particularly JDM or GDR, you'll know about HKS. The vehicle itself and the livery, of course, it was a white car. It had to be black. Couldn't have had a black one for us, where we could just add livery. So we color changed it first, and then added all the livery. Jonathan cut tirelessly, printed, adjusted graphics, and then we spent days and upon hours while there was a whole bunch of people there working on the car. I think there was 7 of us, for a good 36 hours, just putting in time for while it was on a car lift, like on a hoist, so it was on a 2-poster, can't open doors, everyone's working around each other to get this, done by the deadline. It was kind of an added bonus if that car was there. There were so many other bigger things happening but once you get given a project like that, you have to make it happen. So it was cool to see it on display down there at Eastern Creek, and I'll share some of that on the socials. So, it was a good one. It was a lot of fun, but Johnny was saying that the banter, the fun you have around the shop really pays for itself. Like, we both donated our time to that project, and really there was sort of no winners there than maybe the owner, Andrew. But even then, there's no direct, it's not like he's getting paid and keeping the money, but there's a lot of indirect exposure that you get for that. So we were literally doing it for the love of the game, in that regard. So, always remember that, not everything is about the dollar figure. A lot of it is. Don't give everything away. But at the same time, it's important to remember to have fun doing it too. Because we did do a lot of that. And there was a lot of laughs, a lot of banter, a lot of workshop banter. So, yeah, make sure you spend your time, having fun in this industry. And what else do we want to talk about today? Let me have a look at this list. I've got a whole bunch of stuff here. So, give me 2 seconds to have a look at it. All right, here's one thing I really want to talk about. I've been called an influencer lately, which makes me laugh. Influencer is far from anything that I am. However, social media in itself is a battle. I get some people have said to me more so recently about the challenges around things like having to be a videographer. I've I've got 2 cameras here, look, that I'm looking at, and I was like, that's pretty funny. Use what's at your disposal. I have ChatGPT, right? It showed me how to set up this whole podcast, where to grab the foam tiles from, the acoustics, how to fault find, how to fix things, how to do all of these things. And what it's done is help me communicate and connect with people all over the world. So I did Windows. I did wrapping. I still do wrapping. I don't know why I said that in past tense. A PPF. I then shifted to training people, and I'd share things and little reels, and it'd take me 2 hours to create a 15-second reel that I wouldn't love, because somebody else is really good at it. Well, what I realized was, let's keep it pretty simple. The KISS, the KISS methodology. Excuse me. I'm really tired from traveling, so excuse the yawning and carry on. But I did want to force this podcast out, so it might be a little low energy, but we'll be okay. But when it comes to putting content out, just put out content. Like, content is just that, simply that. Some people need perfection, some people need high value video footage and cameras and all this stuff. Some people don't have the budget, so just use your phone. Most people have got phones. I don't know anyone that doesn't, particularly in our industry. Just record the video and put it out there. It's sick. Just put it out there. It's lots of fun. Don't take yourself so seriously. It's more about just record and send. I got told that many, many times until I started doing it, and then I was like, that's fine. Yeah, I don't love watching myself, but that's fine. I don't rewatch it. I'm not putting it out for me, right? So putting it out for other people. If this helps connect more people, and then I get to train more people and teach more people in the parts that I really love about the industry, then this is what I have to do. All right, so things I want to talk about, helping each other. Kind of mentioned it. Just do it for free. Do it for the love of it. Just help. Be helpful. The friendships I have from teaching, training, wrapping, tinning, PPFing, the friendships I have from this industry, unbelievable. I don't get along with everyone. Of course not. I'm a lot. I don't have to get along with everyone. I also drop the ball sometimes. So then there's people that are like, not super impressed. Cool. I do my best. None of it's about perfection. It's about meeting the people you connect with, connecting with those people, doing what you can to actually, help each other, support each other, grow within that industry, grow within that space with those people, and helping them might just be like, hey man, do you need a hand on that job, or do you want to have a chat? You want to go for a beer, whatever it may matter. For me, I wanted that globally, so I went overseas, cold called shops, rocked in. I was telling this story last night. I've told it many times, but I always said to Jim Miller, he's the GOAT in my opinion when it comes to vinyl wrapping. I think he's 175 years old. I'm just kidding, Jimmy. He's like early 60s. Absolute machine when it comes to wrapping. Lots of amazing people in this industry, of course. And I've met. I was lucky enough to head to Wisconsin and meet Kyle. Kyle Osmitz is a funny dude. He's my people, but corn-fed Wisconsin boy. And his wedding I went to a few years ago, I got to meet this whole group of people and vinyl wrappers and installers from around the world, and what a cool experience. Having that connection and moving around the world and meeting them and realizing they're your people, they just from a different place. It was really cool. It was a lot. I really, really enjoyed it. And it's the same reason I enjoy events. It's the whole reason I want to take my son to the event, because I was like, man, these people, they're amazing people, but it's kind of like they've all funneled all these good people into the same area, right? Because good people want to hang out with good people, So that's really the cool thing. But I also want to show people the experience and opportunities there are across the world. Like, they have the same challenges we have with staff and everything else. So, I've said to window tenders for years, chase the sun. Like, go over to the US during summer rather than, roughing it out in Australia during winter here. Close for 2 months in winter and go and work in the US somewhere. Find a big shop that can accommodate that. Talk to them about it. Plan it out. Go there and just work your butt off. Meet these people. It's a great time. I reckon do it. It's one of the coolest parts of the industry. We can literally go anywhere in the world. And the reason I say all these things, and to tie it all back together, well, Lola's up and about. Oh, no, she's out. She's actually asleep. The reason I say it all is a lot of new installers, a lot of young people are coming through the industry now, and they want to know how to get started. This is the forum on which they're going to see it. This is they're going to look on their phone. They're going to look online. They're going to chase up what information can they find. That cold calling in shops like I did at Jim Miller's shop, it's sort of unheard of. Like, there's still some people doing it, but a lot of the time it's let's see what's online. Send them an Insta, slide into the DMs and see if they'll take you on board. But it's also up to us to open the door that way, because if I got a text message asking for a job, I might be inclined to be looking at it just going, if you can't make the effort to call or turn up, then I'm not interested. But the way of the world is to actually have this thing just go, hey, I'll call you, but I just need some information first, right? They don't quite cold call. So I get DM'd at least 5 times a week asking for work or jobs or support, and they don't necessarily, probably the high majority actually, don't even work within our business. So, they're not one of the customers that we sort of generally look after. Some are ones that, I try and look after anyone that I've trained over the years and, happily go through that. When it comes to training, we're gonna venture on trying to find new ways to teach people. We want to find an online training that isn't your normal watch me do it kind of training. I want to show some training that shows how to do it correctly, how to see if you're doing it correctly, but then also have a feedback loop where I can check the work, or another expert can check the work and actually go, this is how you can fix it. This is how you can do better. This is what you can do to get better. So, there's other ways to do that. So, it's easy to sort of fall quickly when it comes to learning a new thing, because you're going to go, oh, look, I'm petrified. I'm too scared to actually try it. I don't know where to start, that sort of thing. It's important that if you're going to lose confidence early on, you might stop prematurely right when you're about to get the thing. So, but I want to find ways that people can learn in their own pace and generally faster. That's where I want to talk about and what we're setting up with the Rap Institute, ways that we can go live, ways that we can get you on board and look in and actually learn, but also be tested, right? And actually check that you can do the job, rather than, you send a photo or you watched a video and you said, yeah, I watched it. Yeah, I know what it means. I can actually watch you do the work and actually, really, really basically test, evaluate, give you feedback, and give you the skills that would actually help. Imagine finishing a course that actually holds weight in the industry enough that when you walk in and said, I did this course, and the shop owner also understands that course gave you a skill set that you wouldn't normally get, right? That you didn't just watch YouTube videos, that you actually followed the curriculum, went through those stages, and actually understood the whole process, and that you just need hours on the job now, rather than just creating problems for the shop that you're actually trying to get a job at. Let's try and shorten that gap that's currently there, and find ways to do it. So training isn't just about being a better installer. It's about the whole business model, understanding being a better employee around that space, whether it be keeping it tidy or, making sure your process doesn't impact others or the shop or the business, or the customer. So there's another cool thing that I love about this idea is that I get more reach, right? With this online platform, we get an opportunity to actually teach people in a way that they wouldn't normally get to learn. They would just, I can do it in ways that with AI now, I can actually speak this same gibberish in Portuguese or Spanish or anything else. And, with some effort, we could actually really reach people that we couldn't normally, like in person, being in Australia, I'm limited to how many people I can get to, right? There's only so many classes I can attend, and there's so many things that MEP and Luma can actually put on and put together, where there's actually like a limit to what we can achieve, where this really actually takes the lid off that, takes the ceiling off, and we can try and, help as many people as possible get in this industry and try and, help with the shortage of installers. That's my goal. It might be a little far-fetched, but I reckon we'll get it. I had a cold last week, so I'm still getting over that. Excuse me. All right. Some of the other cool things I get to see. Not only some like crazy installs, like some of the work I get to see at these shops when I go overseas. Insane. I still see plenty of great work here. One of the best shops in the world is in New Zealand. Dave Wright at the Wrap Shop. Love it. His work is... His and his shop's work's sensational. If you don't know it, make sure you look him up, follow it. But in the US, there's more of those. You know what I mean? There's shops around the world. In Australia, there's installers themselves. But seeing some of the work and the level that it's pushed to over there makes me realize that there is a wide spectrum for wide amount of customers that can really... We can all learn from each other and understand what part of the industry you want to service, right? Whether it be in the PPF side and you want to do the super high level exotic crazy cars, which that's a niche in itself and it's something you've got to be prepared for. But then there's other guys that just want to do Teslas back to back to back to back and knock them out. And that's a great business model also. So there's horses for courses, when it comes to that. But the things I love to do while I'm there, so I get to see all that stuff, but I get to see, the road trips, the late nights at events, the workshop banner, the friendships that we make, But the constant battle is the travel burnout, because that's tiring, right? That wears me out. A lot of the time we'll travel at night and then work through the day, then travel at night. I don't have that normal lifestyle, which I'm all for. I chose it, not complaining. But it is important to know that, you get up early, try and get some stuff done, try and get to work, try and chase emails, try and answer questions, try and do all these things, then do an install, help all these people, and afterwards you're still chasing work, right? I've still got friends' cars we're doing, my son's business, trying to help him do all those things while trying to have my own life, relationships and travel and do all those things. So look after Lola, of course, the boss lady. She's very important. But I want to segue into a little bit of giving advice to younger installers or business owners, right? Simple themes here. Consistency, reputation, relationships. The consistency, I find I drop off with consistency when I really start pushing the boundaries and trying to do too much and then end up burnout. And then you start dropping the ball and you in a shop where all the systems are in place, it's really easy. No, it's not. It's not really easy, but it's easier to create a process and understand the volume your shop can handle, understand the bottlenecks in that shop where it'll slow down. But when it comes to doing that on a personal level where it's like, oh, I should be able to do this much work, right? When you're traveling, that's hard to maintain a lot of the time, because you might be there teaching, helping, training, answering questions, all while trying to maintain that level of speed of work, right? So that can be tricky. And building on that relationship. So when you ask for trainers to come into your shop, or you go, you know what, I'll get the trainer here and I'll bring them in, and then while they're working, I can learn off them, right? Then I get free training and free labor, or I pay for the labor and I get free training. I've had to sort of put a hard stop on that because it was too hard, and the expectations and you can ruin your reputation on training people. I've even let shops dictate to me how many days training they need, rather than the other way around, when we go, well, let's see where you're at. You might not need the extra training. Maybe we can do a day here and a day later. Maybe you can do 3 days in a row. It just depends where you're at. It depends how quick you pick it up. Depends on so many variables. Won't go into it. But your relationships, your reputation and consistency, they all really tie in, right? The relationship with the customer, your staff, the way your staff behave, the way they present themselves, how they turn up. But invest in yourself constantly with that training. If you're going to look at the business side of things, find somebody that's really good at business and understand their side, and then work out how that fits your business. Because say they run a merch company, that doesn't mean that merch company is the best way to run your wrap shop or your tent shop. However, there's going to be some really, really important things that are going to teach you there. But perhaps you can get business coaching based on around the things that you need to do day to day, or bookkeepers to look after a certain part of it so you can focus on your business, right? So staying humble. I'm in two minds about that. Stay humble within your industry, I think. Try and be cool, but at the same time, I think it takes somebody that's not too humble to really sort of succeed if you're going to be that entrepreneur. But keep learning. I'm still learning. It's 30 years, 96 I started. So just constantly got that thirst for more and learn more. Man, I think that's going to be enough for today. I'm pretty exhausted. We got to 37 minutes. I am pretty zapped. I've still got a lot to do. We're going to get around and knock some things out. However, I wanted to sign off on saying that for the people that also asked me about becoming a trainer themselves, we need more of it. We need more trainers. We need more people that are good in this industry, that have the experience. Reach out. Let's plan together about the best ways to do that. That brings someone to mind that, we've been trying to catch up. It's me being so exhausted, and then getting sick, burn myself out, and then, got a cold, coming into contact with a lot of people. I thought it was touch and go there for a while. It was a man flu, so wasn't sure I was going to make it. But ultimately, making sure that, I don't even know where that rant was going, but ultimately, if you want to learn to be a trainer, I think we can do with many more trainers, but understand what you're in for. Doing half and half, it was tough. I've done it and did it for a long time, where I was, doing installs one day, training the next. But then you can't just stop everything and go straight into training. So, I'm not saying I did the easiest route there. However, I do think that we created a culture here where we can really help as many people as possible. And I would also love some feedback around it. We've trained, I really wish I kept track of every single person I trained, but it's not really in my wheelhouse to knuckle down on those exact numbers. But, it'd have to be well into the, I wouldn't say thousands at all, but I don't know. It's a lot of people and a lot of training. And I'm not saying I'm by far anywhere near what a lot of the other trainers, not only in Australia, but around the world, have achieved in any format. I don't plan to stop anytime soon. I'd more than love to do this for another 20 years and imagine me at 70 just banging on a podcast. It'd be pretty funny. But really, reach out. I do have the Aussie Trainer website. I've got people monitoring that now. Had some people reach out, and I kind of dropped the ball in getting back to them because I was constantly on the road and not planning training. However, the best way to do it is reach out through our team at MEP or myself directly. I can put you in contact with them. And, it's I don't want to turn it into a sales pitch, but there's a whole team of people that can help manage what you need. So, hence the reason I'm proud to be part of that team. So, and thank you, team. If any of you guys watch this by any chance, then I genuinely love what we do. We did the Melbourne Motor Show. We do all these training programs. You rock up and everyone's tired and everyone's working and everyone's doing all those things. And then we show up, have a great time. You go out and you're hosting people every night and you're doing all these things, and it is a great time, but you don't get a lot of rest. So yeah, shout out to the people doing that part of the job, and much love. That's enough rambling from me. I'm going to leave it at that, and we'll talk to you soon. I'll do a recap. I'm going to try and get some good content over in the US. So much love, peace.